So as known as the obsessive compulsive gamer, the O.C.G, and hopefully I'm live with Metal Gear Solid 1. I just had the honor to play it, MGS1. Okay. Okay.
It's been a long time, Snake.
I should have known you were behind this, Colonel.
That's no way to greet an old war buddy, Snake.
What do you want from me?
I just invited you here so we could have a talk.
Invited? That's what you call sending armed soldiers after me?
Sorry if they were a little rough with you. But we've got a serious situation here. Only you can get us out of it.
I'm retired from Foxhound. You're not my commander anymore, and I don't have to take orders from you or anyone else.
You will take these orders. I know it.
Excuse me.
Who's this?
Dr. Naomi Hunter. She's chief of Foxhound's medical staff, and an expert in gene therapy.
Are you military?
No, civilian. I've been sent here from ATGC. Pleasure to meet you, Snake. Don't worry, this injection won't hurt a bit.
What's the shot for?
What's wrong? You don't like shots?
Snake, listen up. It all went down 5 hours ago. Heavily armed soldiers occupied Shadow Moses Island, a remote island off the coast of Alaska.
What soldiers?
Next Generation Special Forces, led by members of Unit Foxhound. They've presented Washington with a single demand, and they say that if it isn't met, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
A nuclear weapon?
I'm afraid so. You see, the island is the site of a secret nuclear weapons disposal facility.
Foxhound hijacking a nuclear weapon?
Now you understand how serious the situation is. You'll have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, and the president of ArmsTech, Kenneth Baker. They're both being held as hostages.
Those are some heavy-duty hostages.
Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to launch a nuclear strike, and stop them if they do. Any questions, Snake?
Questions? I haven't even said whether I'd accept this mission.
Well, you can make up your mind after you hear more about the situation.
Tell me about the nuclear weapon disposal facility.
The disposal facility includes a hardened underground base. Even with our most advanced intelligence gathering equipment, we can't tell what's happening inside.
So someone needs to penetrate, gather
Giggity.
intelligence, and report back. Sounds like a spy movie. What's the insertion method?
Well, an air insertion is impossible.
Not with this storm going on.
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
Approach?
Yes, within a few miles of it. The facility is equipped with sonar detection capabilities. They'd be able to hear our engine or propeller noise.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV.
Launch?
Same as a torpedo, only this has no propulsion device of its own. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim.
You want me to swim in sub-zero Alaskan water?
Don't worry. That suit represents the latest advances in polythermal technology. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
What's the time limit?
24 hours. They say they'll launch after 24 hours.
Do they say what the target will be?
So far, they haven't mentioned the target.
When did the countdown start?
5 hours ago.
Colonel, who are you speaking for?
Naturally, I'm representing the U.S. government.
So who's in supervisory control of this operation?
The President of the United States.
Which means that the President must be meeting with his top aides in the map room about now, huh?
No, at this point they're still video conferencing with each other.
If that's a real nuclear warhead, shouldn't they issue a O.C.G?
Not yet. The Secretary of Defense has operational control and is fully aware of the situation. After you infiltrate, if you determine they possess nuclear launch capabilities, a COG will be issued.
Well, if they haven't relocated to the nuclear shelter under Mount Washington, I suppose there isn't that much reason to worry yet. Is the National Security Agency in on this?
Yes. So is the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency.
The DIA? I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this.
They'll be sending us some support.
We don't need desk jockeys. We need a nuclear weapons specialist.
Of course. A nuclear weapons specialist has already been assigned to us.
We need backup from a specialist. I'm just an amateur when it comes to nuclear weapons.
I know. That's why I've requested the assistance of a military analyst named Nastasha Romanenko. She'll be providing you backup by codec.
A female analyst?
She's built up an impressive record as an advisor for the Nuclear Emergency Search Team. Contact her if you have any questions. She's also an expert on high-tech weapons.
Where's she working from?
At her home in Los Angeles.
California. Seems like 1,000,000 miles away.
Kind of insane that they just like put all this in a place where a lot of people can miss it.
Why are you involved in this?
Because there aren't many people who know Foxhound as well as I do.
Is that really the only reason?
I've been soldiering for a long time. I don't know anything else. I guess even though I'm getting a little old, I still love to be in the field.
Colonel, you're a lousy liar. Tell me the real reason.
Okay, Snake. Sorry. I'll be frank. A person very dear to me is being held hostage.
Who is it?
My niece, Meryl.
Let me just do you a favor. and tagging back your niece.
What was your niece doing here?
Several soldiers were reported missing the day of the revolt. And my niece was one of those called in as an emergency replacement.
She looks like you.
She's my little brother's girl. He died in the Gulf War. Since then, I've been watching after her.
A personal motive, Colonel. That's not very soldier.
I totally forgot that Meryl was 18. Ugh. Like, she's so much younger. Like, she doesn't seem 18. Snake is like, was he born in 72 or 73? Oh, hold on. I can't remember what year Solid Snake is born. He's in his 30s in this game. This takes place in the then future year of 2005 because the game is made in 98. Now, the fact that that was 20 years ago is kind of insane. Yeah, he's 33 in the first Metal Gear Solid. He was born in 1972.
I'm retired. I'm just an old man now. And I'm your friend.
Since when are we friends?
I've thought of us as friends since the fall of Zanzibar.
With my personality, I don't have too many friends.
That's what I trust about you. It's what makes you human. Please, Snake. Save my niece, Meryl.
All right. But I have two conditions.
Name them.
One, no more secrets between us. I want complete disclosure at all times. And two, I'll only accept orders directly from you, Colonel. No cutoffs involved, okay?
Agreed. That's why I was called. But one thing.
What?
I'm not a colonel anymore. Just a retired old warhorse.
I understand, Colonel.
Just put it on with the Colonel anyway, bitch. See, people want them to remake. People want them to remake uh, Metal Gear 1. But the truth is there's not a lot to work with. In a lot of ways, the story of Metal Gear 1 is fucking non-existent. Like, you meet Gray Fox, Big Boss turns on you, and that's cool and all. But you can literally describe the plot like, you go in there and stop nuclear weapons. Big Boss turns on you. Like, that's the game. And it's just like the most non-fucking descriptive military base. So it's like, if they were to do a remake of Metal Gear 1, it would literally be so fucking, like, it would literally be like 99% new. With fucking virtually nothing similar. You know, the basic premise. And kind of not even that, because like even the villains are fucking weird. Like Bullet Man, I think, or Run Man, something like they're so like shit. Uh, Metal Gear Solid 2, there's a lot they work with there. Or I'm sorry, Metal Gear 2. Uh, but yeah, it's everybody's like, I want a whole Metal Gear game. They're gonna remake next. It's gonna be Metal Gear Solid 1. Okay. And if you think that it's not Metal Gear Solid 1, you were fucking kidding yourself. Number one, the vast majority of the fan base has not played fucking Metal Gear 1 and 2. They just haven't. They're fucking 8-bit. They weren't even available in the United States for many, many, many years after. The fucking first game got a port to the NES, but it was very compromised and shitty. Hideo Kojima hated it. And then an unofficial sequel, Snake's Revenge. That's just whatever. It's not even like a real Metal Gear game. So it wasn't until, I'm going to say, 2005 that they brought the Metal Gear 1 and 2 to American shores officially. as part of Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. And then it's like a pack-in. Wasn't like a huge top of the box kind of thing. Uh, so, uh, you were like, why don't people play Metal Gear 1 and 2? That's why. They weren't even available for English players until like 20 years after they came out. And even then, they weren't like well ticketed, so you got to dig for them, and then, they just don't have brand recognition. You need, so, Metal Gear 1 or Metal Gear Solid is the choice to remake. Okay, for number one, as an early 3D game and an early 3D stealth game, the gameplay, while it was great for the time, is really intimidated now. It can really do with the top to bottom overhaul. Like thinking about like Metal Gear Solid 1 with like, crouch walking, fully rotatable camera, aiming and shooting, all that shit would be fucking amazing. Uh, and it is the next most regarded game in the series. So with they started with Metal Gear Solid 3 for a really simple reason. One, it doesn't require any knowledge of prior games. You're greatly going to benefit from playing other games, but Metal Gear Solid 3 stands alone as the beginning of the series. Uh, and it was literally made as an entry point for new gamers. There are some games where you just, you shouldn't start with 3, like DMC 3. Technically, that's the start of the series timeline, but you should not start with 3. Uh, and it's the most popular game in the series. We can debate all day what game, is the best, but at the end of the day, Metal Gear Solid 3 is overall considered the best. And if they had had faith that the remake would be a huge success, they probably would have done one first. But they had to earn people's trust back. Uh, and it was easier to do that with the most popular one. Yeah, I agree. Uh, so they had to uh, earn people's trust back. And then if that goes well, then we're going to get more remakes. So it totally makes sense why they decided to remake 3 first. Nothing. I was just kind of going on a tangent about how Metal Gear Solid 1 is for sure the next game being remade. From what I've heard, Delta did really good. It's already sold over 1 million copies. Uh, and there's more on the way. Like, that was like a day or two after launch. Oh, no, I was talking about the whole shit with Kojima. Fucking Kojima and all that back in 2015 with the Phantom Pain. Uh, they're still trying to get out of that, really tank their brand. Um, uh, so that was why they remade Metal Gear Solid 3 first. It's not rocket science. It was overall the most popular game. It was the Metal Gear game where they started to modernize. The first 3 games had the top down, fixed camera angles. And then Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence added the rotating camera and started to modernize the series. So it was the safest entry point. Yeah, Metal Gear Survive. And they fucked Kojima. I could read you an entire paragraph what they did to Kojima. They treated him like shit. The entire they decided they want to stop. They decided they wanted to stop making games and make pinball machines, pachinko machines. But they were already Kojima was already fucking balls deep in developing MGS5 because it took like 5 or 6 years to make MGS5. And so they had to put so much money into 5 that they couldn't just cancel it. So they were constantly poking and prodding him to hurry it up. Uh, and then they were afraid that he was going to take the entire team with him when he left. because he said, I'm not going to be treated like this after MGS5's finished. I'm out. So they basically, for like the last year of MGS5's development, kept him under house arrest, basically, in that he came to work and he was cordoned off in a room and he could only talk to other employees through conference calls that were supervised. Like, they did shit that literally would be illegal in any other country in the world. Yeah. Uh, and then when Metal Gear Solid 5 won a bunch of awards because it was a fucking amazing game, as you're playing through 5 now, it's amazing. They wouldn't even let Kojima come to get the awards that he earned, like for best game director. He won that fucking award. He was the director. It wasn't like a general thing for the studio. Uh, so, they were trying to win back people's trust. And now that Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta is doing really good, they've already started asking people what other games should we remake in Metal Gear. And on top of which, the same people that accurately predicted uh, uh, Delta remake predicted they're currently remaking Metal Gear Solid 1. Like, they've already been remaking 1 in tandem in the hopes that 3 would do well. So, that's not proven, but I'm just saying, like, if they're going to remake a Metal Gear game after 3, it's going to be Metal Gear Solid 1. That is just what's going to happen. People are like, they should remake Metal Gear Solid 4. No, they're not going to do that. And if you think otherwise, you're fucking crazy, especially because they're currently working to port Metal Gear Solid 4. They have all but confirmed that Master Collection Volume 2 is coming, and Metal Gear Solid 4 will be on there. They've said it was leaked on the website. They data mined it and found Volume 2 and found 4, MGS5, and Peace Walker on there. Uh, they've said the game that you think will be on Volume 2 will be in there. So they didn't outright confirm it, but they said the games that you think are going to be in Volume 2 will be. Like, they said fans of the series have a pretty good idea what comes next. All but confirming 4 is on the way. So they're not, they're working to port it. And MGS4 had some issues because it was uniquely wired to PS3. It was like made to take advantage of that. PS3 had weird hardware. So they're currently working very hard to port MGS4. They wouldn't do that if they were fucking remaking it from scratch. They wouldn't. They just would not. Ah, and four is the end of the fucking series. Funnily enough, you can kind of jump into 3 and be okay. You cannot jump into 4 without playing at least Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, or you are not going to know what the fuck is going on. Like, you're not. So it's going to be Metal Gear Solid 1. Not to mention the fact that arguably, out of all the games in the series, it needs it the most. You know what I mean? Because it was PS1 and it was like the start of 3D stealth. Yeah, kind of. That's like you also need to play Portable Ops and Peace Walker, especially Peace Walker. I mean, it's a little bit too late. That ship has sailed now. But ideally, you should play Peace Walker before 5 because 5 directly leads off from Peace Walker. Like, literally, uh, Ground Zeroes begins like a day after Peace Walker ends. Uh, but it goes. I can read you the statistics right now off the top of my head. It goes MGS3, 1964, Portable Ops, 1970, Peace Walker, 1974. Yeah, uh, Ground Zeroes, 1975, Phantom Pain, 1984, Metal Gear 1, 1995, Metal Gear 2, 1999. Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear Solid 1, 2005. Metal Gear Solid 2, 2007 to 2009. Metal Gear Solid 4, 2014. And then if you really want to be pedantic, Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance is 2018. But that game is like a Metal Gear game in name only and doesn't really fit in the timeline. Like, we're being all technical, but it literally is just like a platinum game that just so happens to have Raiden. I mean, I'm fine with it. It's a good game, but it's not a proper Metal Gear game. But yeah, like I said, it's coming. They're remaking Metal Gear Solid 1, and if somebody thinks that they're remaking any other fucking game, they're wrong.
That doctor, is she part of this operation too?
She was in...
Oh yeah, sorry. They're also remaking Silent Hill 1 now. They've confirmed that. Bloober Team is remaking Silent Hill 1. Which, fuck yeah, because their remake of Silent Hill 2 fucking ruled. Was like my horror game of last year. And Silent Hill 1 needs it even more. And it's the same situation as Metal Gear. They started with 2, remaking 2, because 2 is standalone. It doesn't really connect to any other game in the series, and you can play it without prior knowledge. And it's the most popular game in the series. It's not my favorite Silent Hill, but it is the fan favorite. So it stands alone, and it's the most popular one. It's an easy reason. But, like, say Silent Hill 3? Yeah, he should, yeah. Oh, man, that would have been great. He should have made his PT. He's actually, did you see the gameplay for OD Knock? It gave PT vibes. It looks like he's doing a full horror game with that. That's cool. But Silent Hill 3, for example, some people thought they would do 3 after they remade 2, but the truth of the matter is 3 directly relies on knowledge of Silent Hill 1. And directly is a sequel to 1. So you need to play 1 first. So even though it seems kind of backwards that, they remade Silent Hill 2, now they're remaking Silent Hill 1, it makes sense when you think about why they did it. And it's like, now that it went correctly, now they're going full force. So, actually, I keep waiting for a new Castlevania game. Konami's coming back. They're bringing back the old brands. They've brought back Silent Hill now with 2 Remake and F. I haven't heard anything about. I haven't played F, but I want to play it. It's on my to-get list. I'm probably gonna try to get it next month. I had to make a choice between F and Ghost of Yotai. I chose Ghost of Yotai. I don't regret that. But I do want to play F, and I've heard a lot of great things. So they've already brought Silent Hill back with 2 Remake and F, and the first game's remake on the way. They brought back Metal Gear Delta and the Master Collections, and I'm really, fucking pumped to see the other remakes they do, as well as the play MGS4 off of PS3, because I actually own a copy on PS3. And then, so that was like their 3 pillars was Silent Hill, Metal Gear, Castlevania. They brought back the other 2. Where's the fucking new Castlevania game? Especially because they don't even need to do like a 3D Castlevania game. If they just did like a new Metroidvania Castlevania, people will be fine with that. Like, that's what people expect as a 2D side scroller. So it would take nowhere near as much money to make as, say, like a Metal Gear remake or a Silent Hill remake to make a brand new Castlevania. Like a side scrolling one. So it's like, where the fuck is Castlevania, man? Or fuck, I mean, they remade, well, they didn't remake. They ported a bunch of the other Castlevanias to Modern Hardware. You can now play almost all of them, Symphony of the Night, 1, 2, 3, Super Castlevania 4, Bloodlines, Rondo of Blood, and then they brought the Game Boy ones and then the DS ones finally, which they did a really good job with that. I'm impressed. But there's a bunch of 3D Castlevanias. There's Castlevania 64, which is terrible, but still needs to be included for posterity's sake. There's or is it Legacy of Darkness? Yeah, Legacy of Darkness, that is the fucking second 64 game that most people don't even know exists. It's almost like an expansion pack, kind of the Castlevania 64. It's weird. Then we have Lament of Innocence for PS2, which is fucking great. I watched my dad play that as a kid. It's brutally hard, but it was fucking great. and then Curse of Darkness, which was also great. Both of those were for PS2 and would be fucking child's play to port over. Uh, and then Lords of Shadow and Lords of Shadow 2. And maybe if you want to, throw in Mirror of Fate. Okay? So they could totally do a Castlevania 3D collection. Especially because Mirror of Fate actually is technically 3D. It's like 2.5D, where it's side to side, but it's 3D model, so it technically fits the criteria of 3D. And so that'd be cool, because Lord of the Shadow's fucking awesome. And does not get nearly enough praise.
Charge of Foxhound's gene therapy. She knows more about those men than anyone else.
You mean you've seen them naked?
Make no mistake, I'm not a nurse. I'm a scientist.
By the way, what was that injection for?
It's a combination of nanomachines and an anti-freezing peptide so that your blood and other bodily fluids don't freeze, even at subarctic temperatures.
Nanomachines?
Not just one kind, either. There are different types which will replenish the supply of adrenaline, nutrition, and sugar in your bloodstream.
Now I don't have to worry about food.
I also put some nootropics in there.
Say what?
Nootropics. A class of drugs which will help improve your mental functioning.
It'll make me smarter, huh? Anything else?
Yes. Benzedrine. It's a type of stimulant. It'll keep you alert and responsive for 12 straight hours.
That was quite a cocktail. Anything else in there?
Those nanomachines will also keep your Codex batteries charged up.
I guess I can call you when I'm ready to go on a diet.
You're welcome.
Yeah, most people don't even know that a Solid Snake's hair is actually blonde. People thought originally that Liquid dyed his hair blonde. No, his hair is blonde. Naturally. Solid Snake dyes his hair brown to differentiate himself from Liquid. And they hid that in the briefing files of this game. A lot of people skip the briefing files. I know they wanted to get into it, but they go over a lot of important background data, and it's like, you look just like Liquid Snake. And he's like, well, it's time to fix that, and you see him cut his hair and fucking dye it. So, like, Solid Snake is naturally blonde, and I kind of like, they later go into the fact that he's a clone, which of course he is. We know that Solid Snake is a clone of Big Boss, but it's like Big Boss does naturally have brown hair, so people are like, how do they explain that? And, well, I'm going to say Ava probably, because she carried them to term, and even though they were a clone of Big Boss, she carried them to term, so they rubbed off, or maybe it was a recessive gene. I don't fucking know. But seeing as how they both are naturally blonde, and the person that carried them to term is a blonde, I'm gonna go with it's Ava. So, but a lot of people don't even know that Solid Snake is naturally blonde.
The chief of DARPA and the president of an arms manufacturing company. What business did they have at a nuclear weapons disposal facility?
The truth is that secret exercises were being conducted at the time the terrorist group attacked.
Must be extremely important exercises if those two were directly involved. Were they testing some kind of new advanced weapon?
I'm not privy to that information.
Do we know exactly where they're being...
And that's another reason why the Metal Gear series could benefit greatly from a remake, just overall, because Hideo Kojima has said repeatedly that he never planned more than one Metal Gear game ahead for a long time until with Metal Gear Solid 3. Because he didn't know they were ever going to make more. So he took it one game at a time. So there's kind of like some, they're constantly going back to reevaluate past events. And there's some disjointedness there because it was never planned to be that way. If they're going back and they're remaking the games, they can go and trim up parts of the story to make it fit in better with other games. Not even necessarily change that, but there's like all kinds of little inconsistencies that I could point out, and fans could point out, that they could easily fix without changing the gist of the story to make it all flow together, or just add like Easter egg references to other games in the series. But Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 4 were playing one game at a time. 3 was different, because with 3, we know here's where we start, and from the beginning he's got to end up as Big Boss in Metal Gear 1. So that is where Kojima started planning. So you can actually tell there's a lot more like forethought in Big Boss's games because with the other games going into the future, he could just do whatever he wanted. You know, he could decide Metal Gear Solid 2 is going to do this, but he had kind of some restrictions with Big Boss games because he's like, okay, there's plenty of stuff here, but we know these confirmed facts. Big Boss has to end up here, this has to end up here, and it has to link back into the original timeline. Uh, so with that, he actually did think ahead. But, so there's all kinds of like little inconsistencies that is perfect for somebody then to rewrite the script to accommodate those. And it wouldn't be like ruining the vision, it would actually just make the whole thing gel together as a more cohesive vision. Uh, And I mean, Hideo Kojima even said he wanted people to remake Metal Gear 1. He said, if anybody wants to remake Metal Gear Solid 1 for modern times, it's like, you have my blessing. It's like, I feel like it needs it. So even Kojima has been like, yeah, it's dated at this point. Somebody needs to remake that shit. Uh, so, you know, yeah. But, like I said, it's kind of funny, too, because the way that Metal Gear Solid works is so weird, like the way that it's done, because 3 is the beginning of the series, 4 is the end, 5 is kind of the middle. Like, it wasn't meant to be that way, but it's like, with Metal Gear Solid 3 onwards, it became two different stories. Big Boss, Solid Snake, like two different arcs that connected. And with Metal Gear Solid 4, he ended Solid Snake's story. That is the end of his story. And they stuck to that. So with 5, it was okay. Now we have to bridge the gap where Big Boss's story smacks down into that. So it's kind of the middle. I mean, it's the end of Big Boss's story. It still is an end, but it is they call it actually in the actual like trailer they call it MGS5 the missing link, and it is like if you get to the end of Metal Gear Solid 5, which I don't know how far you are, I'm not going to spoil it, but it directly sets up the events of the rest of the series, but in particular Metal Gear Solid 1, which I'm sure you've already guessed, because, I mean, in the fucking beginning of the game, you see a kid Psycho Mantis. So it's like, yeah, okay, we're already going into Metal Gear Solid 1. Or, just like little things that I love, like the fact that when you finally get the sneaking suit in the Phantom Pain, it is uh, very similar to the sneaking suit in Metal Gear Solid 1, but much bulkier. And you're like, oh, okay, I can literally see where this suit becomes the one that he wears in the first game. Where they trimmed it down. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the same suit design and shit, but it's much bigger and bulkier.
Held.
The DARPA chief has also been injected with the mini transmitter. As you get closer, you should be able to pick up his location on your radar.
Do they really have the ability to launch a nuclear missile?
They say they do. They even gave us the serial number of the warhead they plan to use.
Was the number confirmed?
I'm afraid so. At the very least, they've got their hands on a real nuclear warhead.
Isn't there some kind of safety device to prevent this type of terrorism?
Yes. Every missile and warhead in our arsenal is equipped with a PAL, which uses a discrete detonation code.
PAL.
Permissive Action Link. The safety control system built into all nuclear weapons systems. But even so, we can't rest easy.
Why not?
Because the DARPA chief knows the detonation code.
Yeah, and they got
But
him
even if they
hostage.
have a nuclear warhead, it must have been removed from its missile. All the missiles on these disposal sites are supposed to be dismantled. It's not that easy to get your hands on an ICBM.
That used to be true. But since the end of the Cold War, you can get anything if you have enough money and the right connections.
Like changes they can make. For example, if I remade Metal Gear Solid 1, what I would do is these briefings have a lot of important character and plot details. but they're kind of hidden away in a menu, and it's a lot up front. So I would have these put into the main game as flashbacks at key points. Like you see Snake see something that's relevant to the briefing, and he thinks back, "Oh shit, that's what they told me," and segue into that. That way, you keep all the stuff. It's not hidden away in an option that most people will never see because you have no idea how few people who've played this game that have never watched the briefing. Um, and instead of being a ton all at once, it's bits of information parceled out. And I think that's a better solution.
How well armed are these terrorists? I know there was an exercise going on at the time they revolted.
They're heavily armed, I'm afraid.
What about their battle experience?
The 6 members of Foxhound in charge are all hardened veterans. They're tough enough to eat nails and ask for seconds.
I wouldn't expect anything less from Foxhound.
The others are next-generation special forces. They're not your average grunts either.
So what exactly are they demanding?
A person's remains.
Remains?
That's right. To be more accurate, cell specimens which contain the individual's genomic information.
Cell specimens? Why would they want that?
The terrorists need them. You see, these next-generation special forces have been strengthened through gene therapy.
Strengthened?
You've heard of the Human Genome Project. They've been mapping the human genome, and they're nearly finished.
Now they actually have, by the way.
Following up on this research, the military has been working towards identifying those genes which are responsible for making effective soldiers.
There are genes that do that?
Yes. And using gene therapy, they're able to transplant those genes into regular soldiers.
Gene therapy?
I'll explain this part. With gene therapy, we can remove those genes which we know may lead to sickness or disease.
Yeah, each Metal Gear game has a theme. In this game, it's gene. Literally gene. Do our genetics determine our success in life? And Metal Gear Solid 2, it's meme. You know, the proliferation of internet stuff, which it was meme before meme became a thing. Metal Gear Solid 3, it's scene. You know, do the times we live in change us? And 4, what is it? 4, is it conflict? I think it's the war profits. I think the war, yeah, the war market. And then in Metal Gear Solid 5, it's revenge.
And at the same time splice in genes with beneficial effects, such as resistance to cancer, for example.
In other words, we can overcome all sorts of genetic diseases, and at the same time add genetic characteristics as desired.
Okay. And so if you knew what genes were responsible for making the perfect soldier, you could implant them in the same way, right?
Yes, we could.
But it all depends on being able to isolate and identify those soldier genes.
And in order to do that, it's helpful if you can study the genomic information of one of the greatest soldiers ever.
Big balls.
One of the greatest soldiers ever?
The man they call the greatest warrior of the 20th century.
You don't mean Big Boss.
That's right. We've been working feverishly to identify the genes responsible for his incredible combat skill. So far, we've discovered about 60 of the so-called soldier genes.
So his body was recovered after all.
Yes, and his cells have remained frozen in a cryo chamber. His genomic information is a priceless treasure to mankind.
Priceless to the military, perhaps.
His body was burned severely, but it was possible to restore his DNA profile from just a single strand of his hair.
You people are amazing. And then you're gonna transplant those genes into soldiers?
Yes. We'll use a process that I discovered called gene targeting. The strongest soldiers don't become what they are by acquiring their skills through training or experience. We now know that hereditary factors are far more crucial for creating superior soldiers.
Snake, We can't give them his
And that's
body.
such a crock of
He's
shit,
potentially
too.
more dangerous than all the nuclear warheads on that island put together.
I hear the terrorists are calling themselves the Sons of Big Boss.
The Sons of Big Boss? Tell me about these next-generation special forces.
They started out as an anti-terrorist special ops unit, made up of former members of biochem units, technical escort units, and the nuclear emergency search team. Their purpose was to respond to threats involving next-generation weapons of mass destruction, including NBC weapons.
Until they were added, that is.
Who's they?
These guys didn't start out as regular army.
Looks like a pretty international group. Mercenaries?
Yeah, and it gets worse. Most of them were from a merc agency that I think you're familiar with. They were part of Big Boss's private guard. And after Big Boss went down, the military just bought out all their contracts.
Outer heaven.
After that, they were merged with our own VR unit, Force 21, and retrained. If you ask me, these so-called next-generation special forces should be called simulated soldiers. They have no real battle experience.
Video game players, huh?
Don't forget they've all been strengthened with gene therapy. They carry genes which make them excellent soldiers. Don't get careless just because they don't have much experience.
I thought using genetically modified soldiers was prohibited by international law.
Yes, but those are just declarations, not actual treaties.
The interesting thing is that nearly every member of the unit conspired in this attack.
How could an entire unit be subverted to rebellion?
They're calling it a revolution.
Viva la
Since they all went through
revolution!
the same gene therapy, they probably felt closer than brothers. They see the unit as their only family.
The Sons of Big Boss. But if they were regular army, they must have been interviewed periodically by army counselors.
According to their files, they all got straight A's on their psychological tests. They all seemed like fine, upstanding, patriotic soldiers.
But they all took part in the uprising?
No, several people didn't show up on the day of the exercise. That's why there was a resupply of troops.
Was there any sign recently that something might be wrong?
There was a report a month ago that they were acting strangely.
Apparently they consulted classified information about the soldier genes and performed their own gene therapy experiments.
They can do that even without you?
Well, our gene therapy process is almost completely automated. And besides that, they're all geniuses with IQs over 180.
Even the existence of this genome army is a national secret of the highest order. We've been hoping to investigate this thing quietly and deal with it behind closed doors. High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit, and one that I was a commander of. An elite group combining firepower and expertise. They're every bit as good as when I was commanding them.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter.
Looks like a lovely bunch of folks. Too bad we'll be meeting under these circumstances.
And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound's squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
Yes. And you're the only person who can stand against him.
Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake. The man with the same codename as you.
Tell me what you know.
He fought in the Gulf War as a teenager, the youngest person in the SAS. His job was to track down and destroy mobile Scud missile launching platforms. You were there too, I believe. Didn't you infiltrate Western Iraq with a platoon of Green Berets?
I was just a kid myself back then.
The details are classified, but it seems that originally he penetrated the Middle East as a sleeper for the SIS.
He was a spy for the British Secret Intelligence Service?
But he never once showed his face in Century House. He was taken prisoner in Iraq, and after that there was no trace of him for several years. After you retired, he was rescued and became a member of Foxhound.
I thought that by the time I left, they were no longer using code names.
I don't know his real name. That information is so highly classified that even I can't look at it. Here's a photo of him. Pretty shocking, huh? His skin tone is different, but otherwise you two are exact duplicates.
I have a twin?
I don't know the details.
A twin
But it
snake.
seems so. That's why we really need you for this mission.
You're the only one who can beat him. Now that I've met you, I know. You've got something that he doesn't. I can see it in your eyes.
Why don't I find that thought more comforting? I need to borrow your scissors.
What are you going to do?
Don't worry, just gonna clean myself up a little.
Huh?
I don't want to be mistaken for the leader of the terrorists.
And now, after about an hour, we're go start the game. But I got into a tangent, and I wanted to fully immerse myself in the story. The first time you play a Metal Gear game, you should go out of your way and hear all the story stuff. God, I love this song. I know everybody loves Snake Eater, and I love Snake Eater too. But the best is yet to come. The theme of this game is just as good.
Stay alert. He'll be through here. I know it. I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies.
Who's an incel?
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface. But make sure nobody sees you.
Okay.
If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.85. When you want to use the codec, push the select button. When we need to contact you, the codec will beep. When you hear that noise, press the select button. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
Got it. Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now, let me see. What's the memory for...
Snake, you have to crawl to get through there. First, crouch
No,
down
I
by
didn't.
pressing the crawl button, and then use the directional button to crawl in the direction you want.
I guess they were just being a troll.
Be careful, though.
I
Crawling is
blocked
slow and
them.
You can't attack when you're doing it either.
You can stand up by pressing the crawl button again.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it was somebody I knew that was trying to troll me, but I didn't recognize the name. So. I don't even know how I'm an incel, but you don't listen to stupid people anyway.
Snake, you have to...
And people are just dumb. Oh well, I try not to give them too much credence. But yeah, I totally forgot. There's no actual swimming in this game. In the one part you're underwater, you're just walking around the bottom. It's funny. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Ha! Giggity.
Snake, there's an elevator there you can take up to the ground. You'll just have to wait for the elevator to come down. You better hide somewhere.
Oh, you mean I can't jump rope out in the open? Pretty sure if you just push yourself up against this wall, that's enough to hide you. Yeah. Who'd have thought a fucking exclamation point would become so iconic? But it did. Okay, I can't hold any more rations. Yeah. Doom. People who have never even played Metal Gear know that fucking sound.
What was that noise?
So long, snorkels. Yeah. It's kind of weird how that became like a recurring thing in Metal Gear. Where each game usually has a torture scene. What a weird tradition to have in a game series. Only Kojima. Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, once again, super weird. I think that originated here. I think in every Metal Gear game, there's somebody that pisses their pants. In MGS1, I'm pretty sure it's Otacon. In MGS2, it's E. Emma. In 3, it's Johnny Sokolov and Snake when he's tortured. 4, it's Johnny again. And then in Peace Walker and 5, it's Huey. Yeah.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
How's that sneaking suit working out?
Yeah, that is
Nice and
true.
dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Bear with it. It's just...
It's like super, fucking stupid. The series is like super, grounded, and then, oh, hey, there's a fucking ghost. Oh, hey, you're gonna fight a spiritual medium in a Lake of the Dead. It's weird, but it's funny.
Trying to prevent hypothermia. This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy, I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the genome soldiers in this exercise are using it.
I see. I'm relieved to hear that. Already tested, huh? By the way, how's the diversionary operation going?
2 F-16s just took off from Galena and are headed your way. The terrorist radar should have already picked them
Yeah.
up.
A guy that can go invisible and run like a fucking spider.
Behind D. Colonel,
Behind these nuts.
what's a Russian gunship doing here?
I have no idea, but it looks like our little diversion got their attention. Now's your best chance to slip in unnoticed.
Haha, yeah. Volgan basically calls fucking lightning. No explanation how he fucking does that. People try to say it's his suit, but his suit just grounds him. Doesn't explain how he can fucking pull electricity from outlets and shit.
There are only 18 hours left until their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, you must be crazy to fly a hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you to yet. This is Mei Ling. She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist. She designed your codec, as well as your Soliton radar system. Contact her if you have any questions about either of them.
Nice to meet you, Snake. It's an honor to speak to a living legend like yourself. What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't expect a world-class designer of military technology to be so... cute.
You're just flattering me.
No, I'm serious. Well, I know I won't be bored for the next 18 hours.
Come on. I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake.
Yeah, you're gonna get more than that.
I'm surprised. You're very frank for a trained killer.
Looks like we both have a lot to learn about each other.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning about the man behind the legend. But first, let me explain about your Soliton radar system. The bright dot in the middle is you, Snake. The red dots are your enemies, and the blue cone shape represents their field of
Yeah.
vision. Be careful, Snake. The genome soldiers have highly developed senses of hearing and vision due to their gene...
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I totally forgot. Metal Gear Solid 2 just has a fucking vampire. Just a straight up fucking vampire.
therapy. Make sure you don't let them see you.
First, I want you to infiltrate the disposal site and look for the DARPA chief.
The DARPA chief was injected with the same GPS transmitting nanomachines as you. He should appear on your radar as a green dot.
Get whatever information you can from him about the terrorists. If he's alive, that is.
Yeah.
Snake, your radar isn't affected by the weather, but if you're
Oh hey. Ghost Fox, good to see you. Always nice to have new people. And yeah, Fortune, it turns out is not supernatural at all. It's just like the Patriots technology. I mean, it looks supernatural. It's cool as shit. Fucking fat man. He's not even supernatural. It's just like he's got these pretty little tiny girly hands and he's big as shit. And he's called Fat Man. And like people, it's just funny. And it's like people are talking about Death Stranding and Death Stranding 2, and they're like, man, the names of these people are on the nose. A guy who has heart problems being called Hartman. Oh yeah, rollerblades. Let's not forget that. And like whenever I hear somebody talk about the names of Death Stranding, yeah, being on the nose, I'm like, you haven't played Hideo Kojima games, have you? It's a pretty big thing. Here's a fat guy. He's Fat Man. There's a guy with psychic powers. He has psycho in the name. There's a chick who works with wolves. Her name is Sniper Wolf. Like, blunt, on the money names are like a part and parcel for Kojima. Didn't start in Death Stranding.
Discovered by an enemy, you won't be able to use it.
Yes, it gets jammed easily, I'm afraid.
Yes, it's all made from currently existing technology.
That's
You
awesome.
won't be able to use it in an area with strong harmonic resonance.
Actually, if they remade Metal Gear Solid 1, which it looks like that's the next remake after Delta. Yeah, the Four Balls Girls. The Beauty and the Beast unit. If they remade Metal Gear Solid 1 again, you know what I mean, like a modern remake, how would they do the memory shit? I mean, with this, you can emulate the save file in the Master Collection, which is a nice touch, by the way. But it's like, I mean, maybe they could like do modern Konami games, like I see you play Silent Hill F. Fuck you.
So be careful.
We'll be monitoring your movements by radar, so contact us by codec anytime you want.
Got it. I'll call if I'm feeling lonely.
Seriously, Snake, we're here to back you up, so call if you need some information or advice.
I'm also in charge of your mission data. Contact me if you want me to record your current status. My frequency is 140.96.
All right, man. I hope you have a great night.
Frequency for saving data. Don't forget it.
Remember, except for...
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That whole if they remade Metal Gear Solid 1 for modern systems, I'm kind of wondering how they would do that and pull that off. But they would need to figure out some way to, because him reading your fucking save file and using that to get at you is like a distinguishing characteristic. If you didn't have some equivalent for that, it just would not be the same.
Your binoculars, you're naked. You need to arm yourself with whatever weapons you can find.
I remember. First I'm strip searched by Dr. Naomi here, and then all my weapons are taken away. Imagine yourself put in that position.
Well, if you make it back in one piece, maybe I'll let you do a strip search on me.
Giggity!
I'll hold you to that, Doctor. By the way, sorry to disappoint you, but I did manage to smuggle out my smokes.
How did you do that?
In my stomach. Thanks to the shot you gave me that suppressed my stomach acids.
Cigarettes? How are those going to help you?
You never know.
Which is funny because they actually can't help you with the lasers grids. It's funny too because I remember when you're installing Metal Gear Solid 4, it's literally just him sitting there smoking.
And there's the front door. It's the fastest way, but there's too much risk of being spotted by the enemy.
I can't just knock on the door and ask them to let me in. There's one sentry on the left and one on the right. They're armed with 5.56ers and pineapples.
What about the air duct near the door? There should also be a duct on the second floor.
That'd be where I go in, because that helps you get the thermal goggles.
I can't see it from here.
I'll let you decide the best COA. I'm counting on you, Snake.
You caught Snake?
I mean, making a lot of saves. pretty much every major area just in case.
Snake, remember what the Gauls said. The graveyards are full of indispensable men. Snake, you're all alone and surrounded by bad guys. Try to be careful and avoid getting into a fight whenever you can.
You're right. Wow, you know all sorts of great quotes, don't you?
Well, both my parents are from Guangdong, China, but I was born and raised in America. I've always liked reading literature from both sides. Kinda keeps me in touch. I'll share some more quotes with you if you like.
I'm looking forward to it. But to tell you the truth, I'd like to learn more about you.
Well, I'll think about it.
I don't know who I like more as a save chick. Mei Ling or Paramedic. They're both pretty fucking awesome. And then, of course, in Metal Gear Solid 2, you have fucking Rose. Hey, I know you wanted to save the game, but I was thinking, let's talk about our relationship. Oh, fuck. God, Rose is the worst, man. That's another reason why I'm not a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid 2. Like, in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 3, you have, like, such a great support team. Fucking, Meryl, Otacon, Campbell, Mei Ling, Natasha, Naomi, fucking Master Miller. And then in fucking 3, you have Sigint, Paramedic, Ava, Zero. No, I think that might. And the boss for a while. Yeah, I get that. But it's just like, pretty much, your whole radio team in Metal Gear Solid 2 is just Campbell and Rose. You have Otacon a little bit. You have Emma a little bit, but there's like 90% of the game is Campbell and Rose. And Campbell's cool, but oh, hey, do you want to talk about your feelings, right? And it's like, bitch, I'm trying not to die. Leave me alone. I just found Rose fucking annoying, honestly.
This is Nastasha Romanenko. A pleasure to work with you, Solid Snake.
You're the nuclear specialist that the Colonel mentioned?
That's me. You can ask me anything about nukes that you want. I am also a military analyst, so I have an extensive knowledge of weapon systems as well. They asked me to participate in this operation as a supervisor from the Nuclear Emergency Search Team. I was happy to accept. We must not allow terrorists to get their hands on nuclear weapons of any kind. I hope I can help.
Yeah, it kind of created a whiplash for some people. Because Mei Ling has a Chinese accent, Naomi has an English accent, and Nastasha has a Russian accent. And for whatever reason, in the Twin Snakes, they decided to get rid of those accents. I guess because technically all those people are American-born. I don't fucking know. And then they kept that going forward. So Metal Gear Solid 4, when you meet Naomi again, she just speaks English or, perfect, like, American accent. And people are like, what the fuck? Yeah.
You to stop them.
You're a tough lady.
Those terrorists are serious about launching a nuclear weapon? The world cannot stand by idly and allow that to happen, and neither can I. Unfortunately, all I can do from here is provide you with information.
Hopefully that'll be enough. Another soldier here wouldn't make a difference anyway. It's good to work with you, Nastasha.
Same here, Snake.
I want to see if I can contact Master Miller. Nope, not yet. Okay, the game has to tell you to contact him. Okay, now I can get down to business. Ah, wow. I already fucked myself. Oh, man. I don't like to get detected. Which is another reason for the frequent saves. Yeah! I'm still a bit rusty. I've played through Metal Gear Solid 1 plenty, but I haven't played it in a while. I'm a bit rusty. It's very particular. I recently got the Platinum Trophy for Metal Gear Solid Delta. And well, besides that being a major accomplishment, see, you can't stand by it. See? Fuck. And not only that, but I also, yeah, I'm pretty good at stealth games, modern stealth games. MGS1 is kind of like a different breed. Like I said, I've beaten the original MGS3 on Foxhound. I'm sorry, European Extreme. And I've beaten Delta on your Extreme and gotten Foxhound rank. So, I'm not terrible at Metal Gear. I just, one, takes some getting used to. Especially, like, there's a glitch in particular where in every other Metal Gear game, and including this, you can choke enemies out. And that's kind of like one of your go-tos. But there's a glitch in Metal Gear Solid 1 where if your arm goes through the enemy to a certain degree, it's like they saw you. So you'll see up to an enemy behind them, and you'll get slightly too close, and you'll be instantly detected even though you hit them from behind. Thankfully, they fixed that in later games, but not in 1. And that takes a lot of time getting used to. Fuck a duck. Yeah. And then, of course, in every other game after 1, they had the fucking roll. And in Metal Gear Solid 1, they don't. So I'm used to being, playing 2, 3, every other game, just being able to fucking flip around everywhere. Yeah. Exactly. People thought it was a feature, but no, they've clarified that was an issue. Well, you have to understand, the team that made this game had never made a 3D game before, and third-person stealth games were kind of like just becoming a thing. Metal Gear Solid wasn't the first stealth game, but it was one of the first. And so not only was 3D gaming pretty new, but 3D stealth gaming was really new, and they were still figuring it out, and the team had never made a 3D game before. So a lot of the problems with this is just the fact that they were trying to figure out how to make a 3D stealth game. There was no blueprint for them to follow. And like, it seems archaic now, but at the time, when they made Metal Gear Solid 1, PlayStation didn't even have the DualShock yet. It just had the fucking D-pad. There was no camera buttons. So at the time, it made more sense to have fixed cameras than have a clunky camera. And if you look at a lot of other, like, behind-the-back games, they had camera issues because they were trying to figure out how to make a camera. So Hideo Kojima thought, well, it's better to have preset angles than have unsteady, So at the time, like, people look at it now and they're like, oh my god, these cameras are unintuitive. But at the time, it was a novel solution because they were still trying to figure out how to make a camera work. And it wasn't until the year after this game came out, I believe, where the DualShock became a thing. And even then, they couldn't make games like fully focused around the DualShock because not everybody who had a PlayStation was going to have a fucking DualShock. So they were limited by that. Okay. There we go. Okay.
A surveillance camera?
I think a modern reimagining of Metal Gear Solid 1 would be fucking amazing. Full rotatable camera, crouch walking, the CQC system from later games, fucking aiming and moving, shooting, fucking expanded AI. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. The same people... Ah, God, fuck, see, I was doing so good. The same people who correctly predicted they were remaking Metal Gear Solid 3 has stated they've concurrently been working on Metal Gear Solid 1 remake. But that's taking longer because with Metal Gear Solid 3, they were able to update the game a lot with Delta, but they kept the core intact. I think Delta's actually really good. Some people wanted them to change the story, all that. I thought the story was perfect. They updated the gameplay to modern standards, and they updated the graphics. I didn't want them to change the story of the levels. I know some people wanted them to. But for me, it was perfect. But with Metal Gear Solid 1, that would not be possible. You need a top-to-bottom fucking reworking in a way that you wouldn't with 3. So it requires a lot more work. So the current rumor is that they've been working and making a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake in tandem this whole time, which I believe. And like I said, that would be fucking amazing. Like Metal Gear Solid 1, crouch walking, rotatable camera, CQC, hold ups, for aiming and shooting, a good gunplay, like it would be fucking sick. Keep the story the same.
A surveillance camera?
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to change the story. The story is great as it is. I mean, they can get rid of, like, continuity errors. Kojima never planned more than one game in advance. Not even that, he did one game at a time, so there's all kinds of minor continuity errors with later games in the series. They could fix that without ruining the story and add, tie up loose ends with future games. But just leave the basic story alone, And then they would probably have to make the areas bigger. Because with you being able to move around a lot faster and having more mobility options, if they just kept the areas the same, like they would need like waist-high cover for you to lean behind. They would need to probably take the same areas and make them bigger. Not like, oh my god, open world, but just big enough that there's more space to move into. Because once you have a 3D camera and you can move around faster, a lot of these areas would seem very small. So they would have to make tweaks and adjustments. It would require more work than Metal Gear Solid 3. That and the fact that, Metal Gear Solid 3 is the fan favorite. Like, obviously, you're going to talk to everybody and their mother about what Metal Gear game they like the most. But 3 is the overall pick. So, if you're going to pick one, they're like, okay, let's start with the one that people want the most. They did this, Konami literally did the same thing with Silent Hill. They started with 2, because 2 is standalone, and that's the most popular Silent Hill game. That's the one most people will tell you is their favorite. And now they're remaking Silent Hill 1. So, like, they started out with the later game, then they went back to an earlier game. So I really do think the next remake coming is Metal Gear 1. And I'm down for it. And also, it looks like they're going to port MGS4, which, thank God. Because number one, every other Metal Gear game has been re-released in some fashion. Not 4. And number 2, Metal Gear Solid 4 is great. Was great then. It made a lot of strides forward in the gameplay. Crouch walking, all that shit. But it ran like shit. Ah, god damn it, that searchlight, man. Even Hideo Kojima has said that he was unhappy with the performance of MGS4. That's why he made the Fox engine for 5. So, if they could get, it spent most of the time running under 30, which a lot of PS3 games chugged. 360 PS3, they put so much precedence on graphics in HD that they didn't care if the games ran like shit. When you look back, a lot of 360 games have what we consider unplayable frame rates now, and I'm glad we made a push towards 60 FPS with this gen. Instead of barely hitting 30 and often going under. Of course, they're badly optimized games, but for the most part now, 60 has kind of become the standard, and I'm thankful for that. But, God, I don't know why that gives me so much trouble. Normally, I have no problem with those searchlights. Oh, well. But to play Metal Gear Solid 4 at, an actual, smooth 60 would be fucking awesome. And be a game changer when it spent most of the time under 20, or under 30. And it can even get down to, 15 frames a second. And then, of course, high resolution. I also hope they redo the trophy list. Metal Gear Solid 4 technically was the first Metal Gear game to get trophies at a post-launch patch, because when it released, there wasn't even trophies. There wasn't even trophies when MGS4 launched. PS3 didn't have trophies till, the third year is out. Second, yeah. But the trophy list in Metal Gear Solid 4 is fucking awful. It is one of the worst games to platinum. I would never do it. It is fucking terrible. And they adjusted several games in the series before.
with the Master Collection. So if they could make the trophy list more reasonable, like you basically have to play Metal Gear Solid 4 like 12 times on every difficulty, and one time you have to do it really quick, and then another time you have to take your time, like 40 hours. It's fucking stupid. They went way fucking overboard with the trophies. And so even though I love Metal Gear, I would never get the trophy list for Metal Gear Solid 4 because it's just fucking asinine. But they could actually just, get that down to like, get 100% completion, and then finish it once on the highest difficulty, and that would be good enough. Not fucking 12 times and all this other bullshit. That's what they did with Delta, and that was just fine. Fuck! Okay. God, I seem like such a fucking idiot. Oh, well, I'm still getting back in the swing of things. Okay, instead of trying to go back the way I came, I'll just go around. I think that's the better way. Shimmy, shimmy. Ooh, a snaky, snaky. There's a guy sleeping over there. They're super elite genetic soldiers. One of the first ones you see is fucking asleep on the job. Yeah, it's got that SOCOM, but it's not silenced. It's basically fucking useless until you get the silenced one. Oh yeah, I forgot about... no. Keep walking. Yeah, like, people who do that actually make my ass bleed. Why the fuck would you play Metal Gear Solid if you just want to, like, go loud? That's what I'm saying. Like, who does it? Like, there's so many other shooters. Why would you play a stealth game to go loud? I just never understood that. I mean, like, I guess it's great the options there, but I just could never understand people who do that. Like, yeah. Like, there's so many other fucking shooters for you to play. If you want, like, a military shooter that's not stealthy, like, I just don't understand it. I want to play a Metal Gear game that doesn't play like a Metal Gear game.
Whose footprints are these?
Oh, shit, I forgot. They can actually track your footprints. That's fucking crazy. And that attention to detail back in the day was fucking insane. See, fuck me. I totally forgot about that they could do that. Which, at the time, leaving footprints in the snow for 1998 was fucking insane. And Hideo Kojima is known for his, attention to detail. He always has been. At least I'm making progress. Like I said, I'm readjusting the MGS1. God! And I say that and then I immediately fuck up. Oh my god. Oh, at least I'm having fun. Maybe the real Metal Gear Solid was the friends me made along the way. the time being, I'm gonna stay the fuck out of the snow. Yeah,
Whose footprints?
I agree. They actually changed that in the Twin Snakes, the remake of Metal Gear Solid 1. Oh, fuck it. Okay. Okay, I almost did it. They actually changed that. When they remade Metal Gear Solid 1 for GameCube, the Twin Snakes, he says, a surveillance camera. Like, he's just pointing it out like he's not surprised. I think that's more for the player's benefit. No, it's not a problem. I wouldn't worry about it. I was fucking up enough before you said anything, I swear to God. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, there's a guy up here. Remember? Fuck a duck. That's not a biggie.
A surveillance?
Oh, fucking shit. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. I gotta adjust my camera. Okay. Yeah, I can't do anything right, I swear to God. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It gets a lot more manageable once you actually have tools. Actually, find this gets easier as you go through it. Yeah. I didn't know that gene therapy, the soldiers made them fucking omniscient. And then I get called by the camera. Fuck me! Ah! The Metal Gear Solid Integral actually has a first-person mode. You can unlock after you beat the game. I wanted to try playing in that because I actually think that might be easier to play with entirely in first person. You can even like fire weapons, but the problem with the Integral is it was a Japanese only re-release, and like the menu and stuff is English, and the dialogue's English, but like the text for items and descriptions and stuff is Japanese, so it's kind of weird. But I would really like to be able to play MGS1 in first person. I think that it might actually be better. That I have no idea what that even means.
That base must have some kind of ventilation system to recirculate the air. There should be air ducts around there somewhere. They must need a lot of power to run the base. There's probably a diesel generator somewhere. And since generating electricity requires oxygen, there must be exhaust openings for that too. You're not gonna believe this, but they shot down the F-16s we were using as a diversion with a Hind D. Then we got a message from Liquid. He said if we try something like that again, he'll launch the nuke. Snake, hurry up and get in there. That Hind will be coming back soon.
Yeah, see, fuck, I gotta tune to Olga again so that her contact is saved. Keep forgetting.
Good. You've got yourself a weapon. To use it, first hold down the R2 button to enter weapon mode. Then select the weapon you want with the directional button. After you've selected the weapon you want, let go of the R2 button to exit weapon mode. The weapon you selected should appear in your hand. To use the weapon, follow the directions displayed in the window. If you use the R1 button, you can equip your weapon more quickly. While you're barehanded, press the R1 button to equip the last weapon you used. Press the R1 button while you're holding a weapon to be barehanded again. Don't fire your gun needlessly, or you might be discovered. If you had a gun with a suppressor, it would be a different story. If you have any questions about weapons or equipment, you should ask our military analyst, Nastasha. Her frequency is 141.52.
This is Nastasha Roman.
skip through that. I've already seen this.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island was built at the beginning of this century. It was made only to temporarily store the nuclear warheads.
Why? If they wanted to dispose of them, why wouldn't they just dismantle them right away?
They cannot do that. You see, when you dismantle a warhead, you still have nuclear materials that must be stored. At this point, all of the nuclear material storage facilities are way past capacity. But they could not stop dismantling weapons while at the same time pushing Start 2.
So you're telling me that this base was built so they could temporarily avoid being in conflict with Start 2?
Most people think that we live in a safer world now. But with all the dismantled nuclear weapons and waste around, the threat of nuclear terrorism has increased tremendously.
It's ironic, isn't it?
After the START 2 Accord was signed on January 3rd, 1993, Russia and the US reduced their strategic nuclear warheads to between 3,000 and 3,500 warheads each. They completely dismantled all of the ICBMs which contained MIRVs. As a result of that, there are over 15,000 dismantled nuclear warheads waiting to be disposed of.
Well, he said, oh, do I have to have the weapon equipped for her to give me the lowdown on the weapon? Or... Yeah, I think so.
Хорошо. Good. You found a SOCOM. That's a Special Operations Command pistol. It's a 45 caliber pistol with plenty of stopping power. It's also equipped with a LAM for nighttime combat. If you hold down the weapon button, you can train the laser sight on the enemy to help you aim. If you find a SOCOM suppressor, you can equip that too. That pistol was designed specifically for use by special forces, so I think it will be useful. Some people find it a little heavy and hard to use, but it shouldn't be a problem for you.
We finally made it past the first area, thank God! Well, the first real area.
Snake, this is McDonald Miller. It's been a long time.
Master, what are you doing here?
I quit being a drill instructor, so I moved out here for some peace and quiet. I'm in retirement, just like you. Once in a while, I still help train the Alaskan Scouts.
Passing on the skills to a new generation, huh?
Campbell told me about the situation here. I thought I might be of some use.
There's no one I'd rather have in a foxhole than you.
Giggity.
Well, I know lots about survival in a harsh environment. I've lived in Alaska longer than you, so call me if you have any questions about the flora or fauna out here. My frequency is 141.80. Snake, you've got to think. Your mind is your most dangerous weapon. If things are getting too complicated, try to simplify your thoughts. You can also try...
It's a long story. But we're currently dealing with a fucking roach problem. I don't tell people that all the time because they think, oh, trashy, but like when we moved in here, it was part of the lease that they would fucking spray for roaches because it was a problem before we got here, and then, oh, look at that, when we moved in here, they just didn't do that. Oh! And so, like, around my system, around my entertainment center, I have tons of sticky traps to trap roaches, but they still insist on getting on my fucking camera. I guess because the heat from it. So I have to constantly get them off my fucking camera, and then people see that, like, oh, he's filthy. It's like, no, dude, it was a problem when I got here. Like, if you saw the steps that I've taken to combat these fuckers. And, you know, it's just easier to adjust it with a fork. It's a thing.
Calling Campbell for advice.
See, God, fucking damn it. Yeah. And it's especially messed up having people think that I'm trashy. People see roaches, or they hear roaches, and think, "Oh my God, these people must be filthy," and never mind the fact that they were here before we got here. They're in the apartment building, so it doesn't matter. We can keep our place fucking spick and span. They'll come over from next door. This is what it's like being poor, unfortunately. And I don't know why, but today they're especially bad. I don't even have any fucking food in my room. I have one drink, but it's over here. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there. It is what it is. Like I said, if people want to judge me, they can. Fuck them.
I moved the DARPA chief to the cell in the first floor basement.
What about the vent shaft cleaning?
They just opened the vent covers. They're about to start spraying for rats.
First floor basement ventilation shaft.
Shut those covers as soon as they're done spraying. Also, keep your eye on that woman in the cell. Don't get careless now.
Woman in the cell?
Like I said, they were here when we got here, and we've done everything you can think of. We tried spraying pesticides, didn't work, and it's toxic for our animals. So we constantly had to deal with my cat. I love my cat. She's like right over there on the floor. Worried about her getting in contact with and getting sick. And I have sticky traps where it's just good old classic adhesive, and that helps some. But even with tons of sticky traps, it's just like it's a fucking nightmare. And people see it and they think, "Oh, that person's trashy," and it doesn't really matter the whole situation because people just see it and they judge you. Okay, I can't get the ration. Oh, and every time, like, what is it today where they're like that? Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm trying to fucking take care of the situation. It's always something. Yeah, I appreciate that, but unfortunately, most people aren't like that. Most people these days want to jump to conclusions without understanding anything about somebody. Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, the entire building has a problem with them. It drives me fucking crazy because I'm actually a very clean person. I have OCD. Yeah, I have OCD, and I wash my hands like entirely too much, and I'm really anal about being clean. So it has nothing to do with cleanliness. They're in the whole fucking building, and even if by some miracle we were able to get rid of all of them in our building, which is really hard to do, and the people who weren't spraying, oh, okay, and their agreement was that we didn't spray. So they're like, okay, well, we'll cover the spraying, but we have to spray. And then they didn't. Great fucking tenant, man. Great landlord. That's the whole thing. So they're not going to spray, and you don't want us to. Awesome. Uh, but even if by some miracle we manage to get them out of our building, they're in the whole building. So they'll just come in from the other building. That's what fucking roaches do. So it's a fucking nightmare scenario. Yeah, they do. Well, some of them are okay. But yeah, a lot of them suck.
Use the elevator to change floors. There should be a cargo elevator that you can take down somewhere around there. Try to find it.
Yeah. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anybody else on the first floor. There's a security camera over there in the corner. Oh yeah, you gotta have the fucking key cards. I forgot about that. There's the thermal goggles. They're super useful later. And there's a staircase right there and another camera. Yeah. That's true. Time for another proverb.
You found out where the DARPA chief is. With his nanomachine transmitter, he should show up as a green dot on your radar when you get close. Try to find him.
Things. Yeah.
Come on, Snake, you can do it.
Okay, she doesn't tell you proverb there. And I'm pretty sure there's the SOCOM suppressor here, around here. There's the bullet for the SOCOM. Let me just move more. Ah, fuck. Yeah, I'm glad you said something. Oh, shit. Alright, let's try this again. Yeah. Is it over here? I think it might be over here. thought, okay, hold on, let me Google this, because I was certain there's a SOCOM suppressor around here, and I don't want to miss it. Okay. Yeah, I can get it after I do the, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I could have came in this way. This is the alternate way in. Fuck off. Fucking shit. Oh, it's gonna be fucking cool. Yeah. There's actually a pretty decent amount of freedom in this game. Don't look this way, don't look this way. Don't you fucking look this way! All right, I'm gonna take a short break. Maybe nap or play something else. I'm not in the right frame of mind for this. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, great Fox, that'd be great. It'd be great to have you. If not, I understand, but I'll see you later.